I look at myself as a real connoisseur of hamburgers. There was a period of time where every single Sunday, my mom and I would go to a different place to try their hamburger. But we would also investigate during the week. We would look them up, and then something along called Yelp or so-and-so says this is a good place. So I started doing that even when I started traveling. When I started going on the road a lot, I would do the same thing. I would look up the best hamburger and I would go try it. And I've been burnt a few times. Like, people's opinions on hamburgers, I don't think that everybody should be welcome to their opinion. I really don't. There's certain rules of a hamburger, right? And you have to show respect all the way down the line is, who is the hamburger created for? The hamburger is created for the guy who worked hard all day, wants to get something to eat before he goes home and turns the game on. And before you go, well, Chael, I love hamburgers, and that's not a fair stigma. I've never done any of those things, or my kids love them, and they're 8-year-old. I'm not saying you can't still enjoy it. I'm saying the crafter of the burger has to keep that person in mind. I went to the Burger Bar in Las Vegas inside the Mandalay Bay, which holds a number 9 national ranking. The only way the Burger Bar, which is disgusting, got on ranked anyway is if, like, the publisher's dad owned the place, or vice versa. There was home cooking. I had my after party there. After party means you have a fight and you're picking up the tab, but you invite some people to come with you. We got about 12, 11, 13 people. It comes to me to order, and I said, I'll have whatever's most popular. Now, I said that for 2 reasons. 1, I knew they were ranked number 9 in the country. And 2, I thought it was a cool thing to say. Oh, bring me whatever's most popular. I thought it was a cool thing to say. Apparently, the waitress did not, because there's no part of me to this day that believes she brought me what was most popular. It was on that bun. What do they call it? A brochette bun. You know the one I'm talking about. Brochette, spinach, sauteed spinach, and goat cheese. It was disgusting. And she must have thought, when I was trying to take the cool guy attitude of just bring me whatever's most popular, she must have thought I'm going to shove this in this guy's face and he'll never do that again. That's disgusting. And you never had the guy coming from job site want to get a bite to eat that's affordable before he goes and flips on the Dodgers game in mind. You never did. So when I go and I sit down, I'm watching the Brown fight and I order this burger. First off, it comes out on a homemade bun. I mean, red flag number 1. If you were better at making a hamburger bun than Franz, which is a $100 million company who only makes hamburger buns, okay, if you are better at that, close the doors to the restaurant and just go compete against Franz. There's a reason they sell hundreds of millions of dollars worth of buns, because they're good at making buns. So it was weird right from the jump that this piece of bread was crafted in the back. Secondly, you never, and this is a never, put on red onion. If a guy likes red onion, and those guys do exist, that is reserved for a backyard barbecue. When you're the one flipping the burgers and you chop them up and you put that on the plate, and then when people come down the assembly line, if they choose to, red onion is very offensive. You always use a white onion. If you just have to use a Walla Walla sweet or a yellow, go ahead. You never put a red onion on. These aren't just Chael's rules, okay? I'm out here in Oregon. We have a top 10 ranking for burgers. There's also a national ranking for hamburgers. And guess what? Neither of them will allow on their list a red onion. Have you guys heard of Killer Burger? Killer Burger sells a lot of hamburgers. They're definitely not bad. They did not make the top 10 list. They made honorable mention with a notation. Do you know what the notation said? Red onion. Nobody serves a red onion. Wendy's, McDonald's, Burger King, In-N-Out. You go through it any way you want to do it. There's a reason you don't serve that. You want to know what else you don't do that this place decided to do that I'm watching the Matt Brown fight, but I'm gagging on this burger, and it's in my hometown, of which I would never act like a jerk, right? In my hometown, everybody's getting tipped. Highs, hellos, thank yous, and goodbyes. They put on a sweet butter pickle. Now, you're going to have friends that like sweet butter pickles, that like those more than dills, right? Get a bunch of friends together and go, hey, who prefers a sweet butter to a dill? So you'll have hands go up, but it's not going to be your cool friend. It's going to be your friend that at some point in his life, and maybe right now, has a purple streak in his hair, right? I mean, you know the guy, but you don't put on a sweet butter pickle. You serve dills. They not only put a sweet butter, they put it about a half an inch thick. You cut a pickle real thin. So now I've got an overwhelming offensive pickle to drown out the taste of an overwhelming offensive onion that never should have been there before I get to the home run, which is the lettuce. Don't ever get cutesy on a cheeseburger because you're showing that you don't respect the hardworking guy who stops off for something to eat before he goes and turns the game on. If you're going to use lettuce, you use iceberg. Why do you use iceberg? Because it looks fresh and it has crunch. No lettuce in the world offers a taste. It offers a texture. Even if you're using the cheapest one on the shelf that you can cut, looks fresh, gives texture, and shows that you have respect. And there's some guys that are burger guys. There's plenty of restaurants that make, they're just disgusting. They just don't understand what they're doing. I ended up in this gym. Want to hear a spot I ended up in? I'm sitting at a Hooters convention. Okay, Kenny Florin and I get brought in to be judges of a Hooters pageant. So I'm literally having dinner, big fancy restaurant with the CEO, COO, the CFO, all the executives. And they begin to ask Kenny and I what we think of their restaurant. Now, there's some times in life, okay, where, the truth just isn't going to serve you well. It's very tough when you're sitting with these executives of Hooters to tell them the truth, which is you don't understand a wing and you don't respect it. That's the truth. 90% of the time I go to your restaurant, you guys are overworked. The wings come out. They're a little bit frozen, quite frankly. And secondly, if you ever meet a guy that tells you that dip is for someone that doesn't understand a wing, you just talked about 1% of wing eaters. It's all in the dip. All of it's in the dip. It's why Buffalo Wild Wing comes out with 30 different flavors and they're still in business. It's all in the dip. I used to go to Hooters and they would bring you, if you want either a ranch or a blue cheese, they would bring it to you with like a Paul Newman's and it was a reduced fat, but it was already in the container. Like clearly they bought it from Paul and Paul dropped it off and they took it in the fridge and threw it on your table. But now you're showing a lack of respect. If you're going to serve ranch and you clearly don't want your customer to have it, at least make it there yourself. And why would you give a reduced fat? Who are you to tell me what my fat take should be? So it was one of these tough spots when these guys asked the question where, you're looking down a little bit. Hey, Kenny, tell them how good their frozen wings with fat-free ranch is.